Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Sovereign Syndicate. We're back in the shoes, well I say shoes, he doesn't wear shoes, hoofs of Atticus Daley in Chapter 15, where he's at Braxton Manor. I haven't read this yet, so let's work through it. In dogged pursuit of clues to your mother's fate, you followed the breadcrumbs out of London to Braxton Manor, the estate of Lord Silas Bragg, owner of Arsenal Engines, and one of the few rare cyclopes to ever have a lordship. Soon you will tie up the ends of this tale, whatever the outcome. We've read that before as Clara in her chapter. Thanks to Turner's generosity, I've got a bit of tin jingling in my pocket, though it's only a fraction of what I won at the Palladium. Yep. What a mess this day's been, but Clara did apologise at least. She can't be all bad. In any case, Clara said she's investigating the murders. I suppose I've done my part by telling her what I saw this morning. Great, yeah, so he's completed his courtesan killer task because Clara's the one who's doing that bit. Don't imagine there's much else I can do about it, neither. Besides, I've got enough on my plate as it is. Well, may as well hope for the manor, at least I'll be out of the rain. Is there anything to be gleaned from this area? I don't know, we didn't explore this bit as Clara. Ooh, plenty of coins in there. Got a shilling. Hard times can make one wish for better days. A light in the dark, one small symbol of hope in this rum rigmarole. Right, before we ride to the manor, again, let's just have a quick squiz around the rest of this map. Oh, no, that's it. So let's go to the manor then. Shouldn't overexert myself by walking all the way to the manor. This coat should prove useful. Let's take it. We'll look at stuff outside. We don't have to go in just yet. Hardly any wear and tear. Perhaps Lord Braxton seldom receives visitors outside of special occasions. Front garden. Nothing like some greenery to brighten up the landscape. Pool of shadows. Here's a decent enough place to perform my illusion. Yeah, do it. Be in disguise. Let's see how they like Atticus Daley. Human about town. I'm not going to enter the mansion yet. I'm going to go down the side path because we don't really need to be in the party. I wouldn't say. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything up there. Let's go down the side path then, unless he says he doesn't want to. I would think we're looking for Braxton. We're not really looking to hobnob with the elite party goers. Looks like there's a path here cutting through the brambles. Take it. Dapper dwarf and a little pup. Little puppy up there. Arsenal sentry. That doesn't bode well. This sentry looks dangerous, though not aggressive. I am programmed for your safety and entertainment. Knock, knock. Who's there? No one. Perimeter secure. Can I get past? Oh, I can. Oh, it's the guy on the ostrich. What's he doing out here? Sir Willard Ratbone at your service. Another fan of good, clean country air, I trust? Yeah, of course. I've been making a close study of that creature over yonder. The black dog, you mean? Man alive, you don't see? That's not just a hound. Well, yes, all right, it appears to be a black dog, but it's actually a black dog, the demonic variety. They've got it chained up somehow. Must be sorcery involved. All right, interesting. I didn't feel obliged to exit the conversation gracefully. The man's practically hypnotised by Silas's weird beast. Cellar door? A bad door going underground. Last a bit of good luck. The latch ain't locked. Alright, we might do that in a minute. I just wanted to maybe poke around a bit up here as well. Well, okay, well this is the back garden. That's where Clara went, wasn't it? Another sentry up there. The angelic figure holds up a torch as though it were the sole source of light in this dark world. Maybe Lord Braxton fancies himself a shepherd of the unenlightened masses. Okay, that sentry is blocking the way, so we can't go up there. So I guess... Alright, so I guess we wanted to get into the party, but we didn't have an invite, did we? So I guess this is our way into the party. Careful, there's no reason to expect a change in luck simply by entering a basement. How are we going to find out who this old crone in our head is? Anywho, a palpable chill creeps up your legs from the flagstone floor as you reluctantly examine your surroundings. The trail has led you to the manor basement. A few scattered lamps feebly contest the shadows encroaching from every corner. Not a sound from the party upstairs can be heard, only a steady dripping from an unseen pipe. The expected damp and mildew cloaks some other undefined scent that somehow suggests suffering. The way on is dimmer still, but perking up your ears you detect the tiny sounds of another living presence somewhere ahead. Ooh. Now we haven't been here before. Looks like someone stashed away a whole party's worth of wine down here, or one enterprise in minotaur's worth. Not now, I need to keep my head clear. These might have been beautiful paintings, but the mould has got to them. The dumbwaiter delivers victuals between floors, and perhaps materials of certain sensitivity. By the fates, this brings back memories of the orphanage. I should back away. Grim and grimmer, but it does seem a likely place to imprison one's kidnapped mental patients. Now that I've made it inside, I just need to find out where my mother's been held. The illusion wore off rather quickly. I hope I'm not losing my edge. Vat of acid. Definitely corrosive, not to mention bubbling, for I can hardly see my reflection in it. There's Fullervole over there. Something smells like flesh got burnt to a crisp in there lately. Turned to ashes even. Ugh. A foolscap... Oh, that's what foolscap means. A foolscap notebook full of chemical equations. Despite my usual intellectual prominence, I can't make head nor tails of this. Whoever scribbled this was either onto something, or trying to while away the hours underground. Well, here's Fullervole.
Well, hello! There you are, and right on time!
As if he were expecting me, so this must be Fullervole. Mr. Fullervole, I presume.
Oh, that'll be Eustace Fullervole, if you please, but yes, one and the same. Unless you're not seeing two of me, are you?
No, sir, I'm most certainly not seeing double.
Ah, just me then. Normal in my line of work. Chemicals in the air and whatnot. Anyway, you've arrived just in time.
Not exactly the most prepossessing chap. I'm guessing he's under the influence of some kind of narcotic and generally malnourished. So you already know why I'm here?
Oh, not much gets past our Miss O'Malley, as I'm certain you know.
Then where is Matilda Daley?
In the next room. Come.
Bloody Christ, you expect me to follow you every which way? Smells like the inside of a casket down here.
You get used to the smell, I assure you.
I don't know where this is going, but I suppose I should hear him out.
Voila!
Why is she covered in a blanket? You better not have hurt her.
Keep her warm, of course. Go on, I've got things to do.
Who's this, Miss Molly, the one who beckoned me here in the first place? Betrayed like a bloody fool. I should have broken that Fullervole in half when I had the chance.
Atticus, so good of you to come.
Molly, you blasted trollop, what is this madness?
Not to worry, Ballman. I don't imagine you'll die in this sparring session.
Sparring session? What the devil are you talking about?
With our guest of honour, Mr. Sykes. He's a soon-to-be active werewolf, and I do hope the two of you can get well acquainted. Fullervole, let the light in.
Dear God, that light is going to change him.
We have a 75 on here. Probably the best. Convince the werewolf not to attack you. Let's do it. There we go.
Listen to me, fellow. I'm not your enemy. Your enemies are Molly and Fullervole, those bloody cowards. There's a flicker in his eyes, but was it something I said? Or is it the moonlight starting to warm his skin? Rubbish, he's about to transform and cut me open.
Reason with the man inside the monster.
You can hear me. You're human, understand? You're not a monster. This is no time to go soft in the head. No, he's turning. I need to move. Now.
Oh.
I'm just not quick enough. I'll feel that in the morning if I don't bleed out first.
Oh, Atticus. Get in there, Jemmy. His blood should be activated, but he's no use to us dead.
Even though Becca cool, Jemmy enters the fray. Bloody hell, that's a clean strike with a cleaver.
Did he kill Sykes? Oh no.
Yeah, it's no use. The werewolf whips around on Jemmy in an instant.
Jemmy, no! Oh, the chains. We need to retract the chains.
Molly hits a button and the werewolf is pulled back on a spool of heavy chains.
Get in there, Eustace. Grab the sample now. Quick as I can, Miss Molly. Well done. That blood should be just about perfect. Shame about Jemmy, though. I don't think he'll make it. He was a good lad. Lasted me a while.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Chapter complete. Teddy Redgrave, Chapter 16. Molly's latest contract put a decidedly unique spin on werewolf hunting. She wanted a Mr. Sykes captured alive. It wasn't the cleanest of jobs, and Otto broke off on his own partway through, highlighting the downside of his new independence. But Sykes was delivered in the end. You step into the fighting cell in the aftermath, where the two minotaurs are splayed out on the floor. One of them is Atticus Daley, and the other Jemmy Betteridge. Molly's run off with a sample of werewolf blood, and Fullervole is tinkering with something in his laboratory. What will you make of the bloodshed done here tonight, and the part you had in it, helping Molly and Jemmy deliver Sykes to this ruddy basement? A palpable chill creeps up your legs from the flagstone floor as you examine your surroundings. Not a sound from the party upstairs can be heard, only a steady dripping from an unseen pipe. The expected damp and mildew cloaks some other undefined scent. The closest analogue that springs to mind is the smell of suffering. Locomotive full of steam couldn't hit me harder than that little twist. Molly gets trickier by the day. At least I didn't get mauled by a werewolf. Atticus twitching on the floor. Oh, Jemmy dearly departed, I suppose. I wonder who'll miss him, aside from Miss Molly, that is. Speaking of, she absconded with her precious serum. But what about my payment for securing Sykes? I'll have a look round this ugly dungeon, but I shouldn't dawdle if I want to catch up with her. Right, let's check Atticus. He's still out cold, but at least he's breathing. Wouldn't look out of place in a butcher's shop. Lethal errand boy got what he deserved. Good thing Sykes made mincemeat out of Jemmy. Never seen anything take a thrashing like that and live, though maybe not for much longer at that. Fascinating. His clamps are studded with silver-tipped needles to dampen his healing abilities and keep him from coming to full strength. Well then, you were a little bashed up, but otherwise, feeling okay? Now, he was Irish, Sykes, wasn't he? No, the pain is terrible. They wanted me blood, but they dragged me to fight first. Oh no, that's Scottish. Curse you for dragging me into this. That's still Scottish. Maybe he's Scottish. Good man, I do feel sorry for you, but this was a high-paying contract. Nothing I could do. Now then, why do they draw your blood only after the transformation? Here, because they're bloody scoundrels like you. I would tear you all apart if I wasn't in chains. Fullervole and Molly took his blood, but only once he was thoroughly enraged. I'll have to ponder that. Every transformation is beyond torture. Aye, but with these shackles... Oh, he's gone Cornish now. Hang on. Every transformation is, beyond torture, but with these shackles I'm not healing properly. Werewolf's healing ability is vital to the transformation. The body needs to regenerate at a supernatural rate in order to handle the rapid musculoskeletal expansion. Oh, I'm sure he'll be okay. The silver-tipped needles in those shackles are impeding him to a great degree. He could die if I leave him here. Then again, he just said he wanted to tear me apart. If I free you, are you hale enough to escape on your own? Aye, why not? Maybe he's gone. Even if she'd lived, she'd refuse to carry my child, due to my condition, I'm sure. I don't have any hope to carry on. Oh, this is taking quite a maudlin turn. I have no purpose, because no one will ever see beyond my curse. I wish I could get my fangs in Molly, and I'll give her the long sleep in the bloodiest way possible. Have at it. A noble impulse, but there are dozens of guests still on the grounds. If he should succumb to another rage, we could all be at risk. Exactly. He's a dangerous animal. What needs culling? Nothing more. Ooh, he seems lucid enough now. I mustn't confuse convenience with justice. Free him. We cannot stand by and see an innocent man in shackles. I'm setting you free, Sykes. If you decide to seek revenge, promise me you'll aim true. I promise you nothing. Now get out of my way. I'm sure that will end well. Can we do anything else with Atticus? Oh. Poor laddie still seems pretty worse for wear. Wait a moment, what's this? He's finally coming to? Whoa. Who are you? Where am I? Easy now, Atticus. Best take it slow. You've taken a right drubbing. Oh, it feels as though I should be picking pieces of my skull up off the floor. Oh, you retreated rather spitefully, looks like. Spite is something Molly has in spades. Yeah, so what's your angle? Here to finish the job? Oh, he was on a job for Molly, but not any longer. Fair play has been conspicuously absent in my dealings with her lately. Yeah, I sympathise, believe me. Just wait till I get my hands on her. Listen, I've got to step lively if I'm to catch up with her. She bolted out of here in an awful hurry. Must have been important. Right, one of her nefarious schemes must be coming to a boil. You go on ahead. I need to take a gander around here. Just make sure my mother isn't hunkered down in one of these cells. Ooh, then I'll say good luck to you. Fate's willing, we'll meet again on the other side of this mess. Alright, good. Atticus isn't dead. That's nice. Got in here. Like an empty storeroom or something. Got some prisoners. Children in a filthy cell. Julian Bertram O'Brien, I presume. And a third child I don't recognise. Oh, are you here to rescue us? Finally, a bit of luck. We can get your hopes up. Since I'm here anyway, let me see what I can do with this lock. Made myself a shiv from a broken fork I found under a mattress in here. I was planning on sticking full of oil with it, just waiting for the right moment. Oh, that's something I'd really like to see, but this ain't a regular lock. It's not coming open without a key. You're staying where you are for the time being. I'm truly sorry. Well, alright. See what I tell you, nobody to rely on but ourselves. I hate to say it, but I can only wish you luck unless I come across that key. Don't worry, Julie. Someone vigilant. Somebody valiant will eventually come along. Hey, that's not. Oh, never mind. There's the man himself. All this for some light bulbs in the manor upstairs? No, this must be powering something else. No sense trying to unravel this mystery tonight. Perhaps when I got more time to spare. Can we understand any of this? A complex series of chemical equations. I wonder if whoever wrote this kept working the problem in their head when they ran out of space. This volume of equations here make Otto's inner workings look simple by comparison. Right, we will talk to Fullerville, but I'm just having a look at other stuff first. Lost enough limbs to know that touching this would mean entering a world of hurt. I doubt it's used for heating purposes, more likely to dispose of defective apparatuses and bodies. Right, let's talk to Fullerville. If I recall correctly, that cove's Eustace Fullerville. Bit of an oddball. Apologies for dog if I haven't remembered to edit that out. Care to explain why there are children down here locked in a cell?
Children? Where? Oh, you mean the cherubs flying through the rafters?
No, you bloody ingrate, the ones locked in the cell down the hall.
Here I was thinking it was just my imagination. But if there were real children down here, they'd be used for scientific experiments, I'm sure.
Somebody needs to put you behind bars, boyo.
Being locked up would give me some perspective. It's interesting to be sure, but not as interesting as freedom.
You're a real nutter, you know that. Someday you'll answer for this abuse.
Oh, pooh! They're just children. They go missing all the time. It's really not a big deal, especially not in London.
I couldn't help but notice the silver-tipped needles and Psyche shackles.
Ah, the wonderful feats of science! Just the mere presence of silver can keep those beasts in check.
Albeit without the stopping power of silver bullets.
Well, we only use those if the werewolves get too unruly once the pit fights are over.
Molly O'Malley, where is she?
Sorry, short stuff. No clue where Molly O'Marshmallow is headed.
He's decidedly slap-happy. Drugged to the gills. Well, it's no wonder with the state of this laboratory prison. There's chemical agony in the very air. But you just harvested blood from that werewolf, did you not? Then you handed the blood over to Molly, so where'd she go?
Ah, Miss Molly, did you mean? Oh, she was just down here, I believe. Must have went out for some air. Have a look outside. The gardens are ripe.
He lifts his finger as if to test the atmosphere.
Right, I believe it stopped raining.
Absolute loon. Somebody set this crucifix aside, either in disuse or disgust. Perhaps the head of this household lost faith. Or now in blue blood's upgraded to a golden one. Likely used to deliver all manner of goods, food, tools, even body parts. Both mechanical and organic. There's black mold crawling all over the frames. No wonder nobody hangs them. Too dangerous to pick them up. Well, how do you do? There's a sizable wine collection in here. I've heard the lady of the house is a bit of a problem. Though looking at these vintages, it's tough to blame her. Alright, back garden then. This is the door we use when we hold in Mr. Sykes. Leads into the back gardens. Alright, let's find Molly. There's nowhere to be found in the basement, so I better keep searching the premises. Oh, there's a lot going on over there, isn't there? Can I look at the black dog? Daddy, I have successfully located you. Is it my imagination, or does Otto seem a bit jaunty? He's practically bouncing on his springs, point of fact. Oh, it's good to see you, Otto. Where have you been? I am also pleased that we are in proximity again. I recently learned that you might be in danger, so I made it my priority to come help you. Well, it's damn good of him to watch my back. I guess we're friends after all. I see, but how did you get here? I concealed myself on Lord Braxton's airship and recently disembarked at the back of an outbuilding, in which something rather strange is most certainly going on. Amazing. Seems like the Determination Corps is paying dividends already. And there is more. On the way to this location, I spotted a large, intricate, and unusual device. I am curious to examine it more closely. Ooh, very interesting. Must be what all this hullabaloo's about. Some sort of demo at the guest house. Shall we go then? Alright, let's not tarry. Oh. Okay, they're just going off. What from the outside seemed to be an unassuming guest house looks more like a cramped storage for steam-powered gadgets and machines of every description. Odd vehicles, long disused automatons, and weird parts of all shapes and sizes are heaped here and there under no apparent system. Some of the less recognisable items, medical inventions, you're guessing, or possibly torture devices, are downright disturbing in their aspect. And the whole dim cavern is dominated by a robotic surgeon, hanging from above like a hideous metal spider waiting for fresh prey. Bill, we've arrived at the guest house unmolested and without hazard. No one in visual range. Current status, hidden. Ooh, this is a keen vantage point, Otto, I must say, though I didn't like the rickety ladder much. But we must not let our guard down. We're likely to encounter antagonists at this location. Oh, that was Otto. But we must not let our guard down. We are likely to encounter antagonists at this location. Probability high. More data needed. Nay, hey now, old sport. Maybe it's just a barn where Lord Braxton has a workshop. Let's have a look before we're getting all worked up. Clank, 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 clank. Alright, let's eavesdrop. Silas, I'm here. I have the werewolf blood.
Ah, perfect. Lady Braxton should be leading the guests into the back gardens any time now. That is, if she hasn't drowned herself in gin.
Valuable data being broadcast. Audio receptors at maximum.
My automated surgeons are preparing the patient as we speak. That blood was the last component I needed to go ahead.
I was glad to help, though the task was anything but easy.
Yes, we've all had to do our part, haven't we? I assure you the reward will be commensurate with the effort. But it is a mite early to rest on our laurels. The most important piece of work is almost upon us.
What exactly will happen once you begin?
Well, the determination core is self-anchoring. Once the brain is exposed, a series of prehensile filaments will penetrate the tissue to place the nodes in exactly the right places in the anatomy.
That sounds, excruciating.
Well, not in the sense you mean. The organ itself has no nerve ending, so the subject won't experience physical pain. However, the subsequent testing sequence, when each node is fired at a variety of incrementally different currents, will trigger multiple regions of the brain in unanticipated ways.
Still unpleasant.
Yes, well, indescribably so, but let's not linger on the details. Every scientific advance has required sacrifices, and the greater the advance, the greater the cruelty, it seems.
What are the odds of success, anyway?
Impossible to say, though failure will certainly mean death. But there are, of course, innumerable others whose suffering can be alleviated, potentially by the determination core. And if one cannot find a vegetable, it's easy enough to make one, yes?
What a horrific notion. The man is plainly mad.
Would you mind, Miss O'Malley, if I practice my speech for the crowd? It is ever so important to put our guests in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, I suppose. Go ahead.
Good, thank you. Dear friends, tonight, for your enjoyment, I present you a creature of inestimable pity. This poor wretch, elderly and indigent, was kindly loaned to us by the Bethnal House facility. I extend my thanks to Dr. Wainwright, a man fearless in the pursuit of science.
If science is indeed what is being pursued here.
The subject is completely devoid of mental faculty, a vegetative husk. Whatever humanity she once possessed, no more than a memory. Yet how fortuitous for her, for all of us, that she has been chosen for today's procedure.
Re-evaluating meaning of fortuitous. Fortune.
For the first time, a cure is available for this woman's deplorable condition. Not through the magic of ancient gods, but from the ingenuity of man.
Fascinating how eloquent words can so effectively cloak a terrible crime.
With Lengen's technology, I shall restore the subject's enfeebled mind to sentience, to consciousness, and reverse the devastating effects of disease. And all of you gathered here will bear witness to the most stunning medical advancement of the century.
Now look at this expression. Look at his expression like a child yearning for a lolly.
Yeah, that's very pretty. A bit long, perhaps. Anyway, the procedure is what will win him over. Can we move it along?
Approaching decision point. If we wish to interfere, we must make haste. The surgery will commence presently. To enact this dangerous procedure on an unconsenting person, someone completely unable to consent, is indefensible. The moral thing would be to intervene. Bloody hell, oh, this is worse than I imagined. Perhaps we could access the surgical theater from the door just there.
Oh, there's no time, Otto. We need to cut the power to that machine. Remember that transformer we saw on the way in? I'd wager that's where the power has been routed from.
Back down the ladder and outside?
Precisely, my dear friend. Let's save the poor patient's life if we can.
Okay. Anything over here? No. Alright. Oh, can we go anywhere over here? Alright. It's hurrying us along, so let's go back here.
Watch out, here comes one of Molly's goons.
His gait suggests he is overly self-confident.
I suggest subterfuge. This way! Very well, waste a good shrapnel though.
Alright, transformer.
Ah, the power is coming from Lord Braxton's airship. Clever blighter. It's been routed through this transformer. What a beauty she is. You could power a whole block downtown with gear like this.
Unfortunate there isn't time to study it further.
Reversing the current would cause irreparable damage at the source. Indeed, but that's a tricky bit of work, eh? Even if I had all my tools here in hand. You think we can manage it? Uncertain, but I believe this is our best course of action. Yeah, so do I. Can you get the panel open? Not to worry, I can pry open the panel quite easily. Well done, Otto. Now it's just a little twist here and a snip there. Et voila. Directive accomplished. Power is no longer flowing to the guest house. Error, Teddy not holding wrench. Hypothesis, wrench left inside transformer. Warning, wrenches left inside transformers may cause short-circuit shorts leading to potential overheating and rapid system failure. Oh, I think something might be a little bit off.
Run.
An explosion is imminent, Mr. Teddy. I suggest we vacate immediately.
True friends stab you in the front. Trapped 17. Back at Clara Reed. You had an awkward encounter with the minotaur you robbed on the way to Lord Braxton's soiree. Once you arrived, it took some work to track down Zora. Before you could get any real answers, Ivana interrupted and the two of them slipped into the shadows. You hurry the madam and her compatriot's steps. Your attire is not made for this dewy, sedgy marsh, but you press on all the same. The vestiges of urbanity fall away despite your nearness to the opulent manor house. Tall thistles catch on your stately dress as you chase the pair, but you will not be swayed, and at last the underbrush gives way to an empty expanse. Two dark silhouettes are just visible as you arrive. In this last of meeting places, perhaps you will finally find the answers you seek. Clara dear, you really shouldn't be here. What a shame. Clara. Calm yourself, Ivy. Shh. Zora, what is all this? Come now, Clara. Surely you have some idea of what trouble you're in. I'm just here to ask you a few questions, Zora. There are parts of the cause and killer case that don't add up. I have no idea what you're talking about, my dear. There is laughter in her eyes. It was Sykes, that contemptible cove, or perhaps Ivana. Here, quite a beastly thing when the moon is full. Traitor. Regardless, it's too late now by half. What a loss. First poor Beatrix, and now you, Miss Reed. That was most certainly not a veiled threat. I'll need to brace for whatever's coming. Ivana, attack. Right, well, luckily we're graceful. Let's dodge. Success. Big success. I avoid Ivana's first strike, but she rounds on me again, pinning me on the ground. By goles, Clara. I don't know what's got into her. She's like a wild animal. Ivana could puncture my skull from this position, but her claws are merely resting there. Ivy, kill her. She's a danger to us both. Kill. She's loosening her grip, slowly lifting her weight off of me. Ivana looms large and panting beside Zora, but for some reason she's allowed me to my feet. Blasted savage curse. These animals can't be trusted to do anything, but it hardly matters. When the transformation reaches its final stage, Ivana will lose whatever mental faculties remain. And tear me limb from limb while you stand idly by? Precisely. But if you prefer, I could kill you now to spare you the pain. I might have to fire a shot at Madame Zora, but I need to make sure that I catch her off guard. For now, I'd better just keep her talking. Just how would you kill me? You don't seem to be armed. With this, I suppose. Zora flashes an object out of her dress pocket. The metal prongs glisten in the moonlight. Polymath. That's a daisy grubber, a two-pronged gardening tool for digging up weeds. Why do you have that? Oh, it's a simple tool, but it does the job quite well. Murdered them. Yes, and I used this to make gouges in the carpet as well as the flesh, wherever it was necessary. Saints above, just like the claws of an acted werewolf. You used that dull instrument to murder Beatrix? Of course not. I slit her throat with a razor, quick and efficient. Using the rake would have taken ages. What about Rachel Nichols? Who? Horrific. Does she even know how many she's killed?
She was a washerwoman, sleeping rough when she was killed. How was she a frat? Oh, Herr, simple mistake, I'm afraid. She surprised me in the dark, but it did present a fine opportunity. Rather than a poor woman drinking herself to an ignominious death, I was able to make it look like the work of a mad werewolf, and got a pretty penny for the organs, too. Why, Beatrix, what did the poor girl do to you? Not what she did to me, but rather what she did to herself, consorting with that lout Sykes in such a manner. She is utterly mad. You hated Sykes that much? Monsters must be controlled. The poor girl's fate is regrettable, but often sacrifices must be made for the greater good. I found your private prison cell at your flat on Cable Street. Sneaking around, Miss Reed. Oh, how rude of you. Surely now that you've seen Ivana's condition, you know what I use it for. You keep her captive in there, then, every 3 weeks around the full moon? Not captive, no, safe. It's far better lodging than those ghastly containment camps. Ivana deserves better than that. Did Ivana help you cover for your crimes? Oh yes, she looked out for me as I looked out for her. She must have grown sick of your brutality and your indifference to the slaughter of innocents. That's where you're wrong, Clara. Ivana knows, like I do, just what it takes to succeed in this hateful world. I know Ivana forged the supposed courtesan killer letter. Why? I told her to do it. I convinced her that Sykes was to blame and that it was in everybody's best interest to expedite the process of his arrest. I worry that her journalistic integrity would prevent it, but it seems the lure of record sales won out. This vendetta against Sykes, I don't understand. Werewolves, my dear, they have no place in polite society. I had put up with him causing trouble in my brothel on top of everything else? No. Shifting the blame to him, as well as ensuring he would never darken my doorstep again, all in one stroke? A simple choice. I know that the killer was selling organs to Gordon Gray for a profit. Yes, I must admit Gordon was a loose end that I resent not tying off. I suppose I'll have to deal with that upon my return to London. Did you kill him for money? How utterly ghoulish. I killed only when I had to, though I certainly had no reason to reject payment from Gray for the organs of the victims. That big bad wolf in the woods, isn't what we should have feared? It's you, part of the flock, with the gall to think themselves a shepherd. Quite poetic, Miss Reed. Shame that you'll have to die, otherwise you and that absinthe fiend Calvin Quill could publish something. A lupine howl rings through the night. Zora takes note of it, losing focus for a moment. This is the time to strike. I pull the derringer and train it on Zora. Oh, that's quite the weapon, but you must know that Ivana will slaughter you if you so much as twitch. So even if you killed me, you'd be right on my heels all the way down to Hades. Zora's eyes are filled with a terrible burning rage. Ivana will do as she's told. She will listen to her cousin, her kin, and do away with this insufferable trollop, Clara Reed. Ivana, attack, you stupid inhuman beast! No, kill. Oh, this dratted curse, it gives the body a supernatural strength, but it weakens the mind. Ivana, attack her, you bloody animal! In a flash of fur and teeth, the towering creature springs to life. I brace myself for an attack that never comes. Ivana rushes at the madam instead, knocking Zora to the ground, and her claws find purchase on Zora's leg. Ah! Wait. I hear it before I see it, the sound of massive paws against the soft grass and the panting of a giant beast. Another werewolf launches into the fray, bowling Ivana over. A 50-50 to size up the situation. Marp. There's no telling who has the upper hand, but the creatures seem ready to tear out each other's throats. You! Zora flings herself at me, trying to wrest away the derringer. We're locked in combat, wolf to wolf, human to human. Zora gets hold of the derringer and steps back, aiming at me with her finger on the trigger. But one of the werewolves suddenly breaks away, looming over Zora's shoulder. It's Ivana, hoisting Zora into the air with a vise-like grip around her throat. The other creature howls and Ivana turns to face it, letting Zora drop to the ground, along with my weapon. In a great mizmaz of teeth and fur and flight, both werewolves dart away, one chasing the other. That leaves me and Zora on our own, and my weapon within reach. 93%, we're doing it. Hey. I dive for the weapon, but Zora gets there first. Before she can fire, I knock away the derringer and roll her over. My hands around her neck. I'm careful not to collapse her windpipe. I squeeze until she does not move, and not a second longer. That's enough. I mustn't be more cruel than I need to be. As I release her, her breath is slow and ragged. She's not dead, but unconscious. As clean a job as I ever have done. For a moment the night is silent, save for her slow and ragged breathing. A minute passes before I can hear it. Hoofbeats approaching. I get to my feet and turn towards the sound. Soon enough, I see a familiar face crest the nearest hill.
Miss Reed, Clara, are you all right?
Eve, saints, what took you?
My apologies, I left as soon as a passing servant informed me of your departure, and these hooves are not made for mud.
He is relieved to have found me well, though his strict decorum would never allow it to show.
Where is Miss Orsini? What happened here?
She was here till we had a visit from an unexpected guest. There are a pair of werewolves loose upon the grounds tonight.
A pair, then, Miss Orsini?
Indeed, Ivana Orsini is a werewolf. She is also innocent of the mantle of the courtesan killer. That honour goes to this wretch, I'm afraid. Madame Zora is still quite unconscious, lying limply in the dirt. It would be wise to restrain her before she comes to.
Then it was not Sykes after all. I cannot say I'm surprised. There were far too many questions left unanswered, and it was too easy by half to levy the blame upon a werewolf.
Speaking of werewolves, it would not surprise me if Ivana Orsini would be willing to testify against her cousin once she returns to human form. She might cut a deal, if not with the bobbies, then with your patrons, perhaps.
I'll make a note of it and send agents out to find her first thing in the morn.
It has been an exhausting night and my entire body aches, but at least the killer has been caught.
All right, if you take these cuffs and restrain the madam, then we might sling her over my back and take her back to the manor proper. My people are waiting on the grounds to take her from us.
Eves pauses and looks at me keenly for a moment.
Now that is all over, Miss Reed, I must ask you, what do you have to say about the killer?
If you're desperate, you can say she was right and plan to pick up where she went off. She's a monster. She's a monster, killing all those people, and for what? Werewolves are far less dangerous than a human with a vendetta.
I quite agree.
At that moment, the night sky is set ablaze with fire and light, the sound of twisted metal tearing itself apart in a great cacophonous wreck. Strike me blind, that's Silas's airship.
Bonds sang. This is not good. Quickly, Miss Reed, let's get Zora back to my agents and investigate post-haste.
Children begin by loving their parents. After a time they judge them. Rarely, if ever, do they forgive them. Chapter 18, Braxton Manor Basement. Back to Atticus. Braxton Manor proved to be an arduous challenge, but you behaved like a gentleman, which is all a minotaur could ask. You now know that the guest house has the resolution you've been seeking.
Yeah, we've read that text previously.
Kind of that dwarf to check on me, even if he didn't do much to mitigate the bodily pain. Christ on a high wheel, my head weighs 100 pounds. That werewolf was one hell of a brawler. If minotaurs could come down with lycanthropy, I bet I could punch out the moon. Oh, I would serve it right. How I've lasted this long is a mystery to me. Pits I fall into. An impressive feat, certainly, but the sooner I get myself out of this hole, the less of my luck I'll have to push.
I reckon his mum is the one they're going to experiment on.
You know it's getting hairy when Jemmy goes to the other side. Perhaps for the best. Less trouble I have to deal with, the better.
Oh, we lost hope for that. Oh well. I am quite glad he's dead, though. Right. Look at the Northans.
An unwelcoming cell door stands before me. Behind it stand a trio of youngsters. Hello in there.
Oh my, hello. Are you here to rescue us? Julie, shush, let the man talk.
Are you two the O'Brien siblings?
Please get us out.
By Jove, it's the missing orphans. I'll have you out of there in, Hold on a tick, this door doesn't have a proper lock. How do I get in?
Look for that mad bastard Fullervold. He must be skulking about somewhere down here. Never goes far. You give him a good hard shake and you'll get the key.
I might give him a good deal more than that. Oh, I'll get the key. Be back in a tick.
Alright, let's go and beat Fullervold up. To be fair, it's long overdue.
Hello, salutations, and hello!
You there, I need the key to that heavy metal cell door. I know you have it. Hand it over.
Hello, key, cell, door? Oh, yes, I recognise you now, the horns and whatnot. Why would I, Eustace Fullervold, hand the key over?
We could persuade him. I wanted to threaten him. Alright, well, we'll persuade him because it's easier check to pass.
I've already lost count of the different crimes you've been committing down here. Now I intend to spring your prisoners and be on my way. If you're smart, you'll get away from this place yourself while you still can. The key.
Oh, not a ridiculously awful idea. Very well, take the key. Good luck to you. Give my regards to King Minos.
The mythical king of the island of Crete in Greek mythology and son of Zeus and Europa, famously installed a capital tax on the Athenians that involved sending boys and 7 girls from Athens to Crete every 9 years to be sacrificed to the minotaur in the labyrinth.
Whatever you've been scheming at in this dungeon, it's over now. If you're smart, you'll get away from this place yourself while you still can.
Oh well. Alright, cell door. Let's let these guys out.
Not on the door, best get this door open. There it is, you're free. Thank goodness they're out now. Better part of London's been looking for you two. Third one, not so much.
What about me? Can't be just Julie and Bertram. Hurrah! Can't wait to get a proper meal in me. Thank you, I'm so grateful, but I've nothing to give.
Nah, don't fash yourself about that. Just glad you're all safe.
I'd like to get going if it's all right with you, sir. All in good time. First things first, I'm Annika Johansson. I know you've probably got it in your head that I'm just some urchin or another, but I'm not.
She was the one in the chapter 1 in the warehouse sewer type thing, being bullied by that dockhound. Every time I played the demo, I was able to sort of resolve that properly and have a proper conversation with her. In this playthrough, I didn't. So we haven't been properly introduced to her yet.
Uncanny.
Remember that name, because you'll hear it again someday. Now, fair's fair. Is there anything we can do for you?
More information never hurts. Can you tell me anything about this place, Bert? Who was holding you captive?
Old Fullervold was in charge down here. Mad as a badger in a trap, that one.
What did Fullervold want with you?
He kept injecting me with some stinky juice. Told me it was for science. Looked like blood to me, which is really gross, but it sure did something, I'm telling you. He started hollering and laughing and jumping around.
Yeah, first time I
got the jab, all my scrapes and bruises disappeared, and I wish those dockhounds would come back. I'd have beaten them up bad. Fullervold was too smart to open the cage then.
How exactly did you two waifs end up down here?
2 dockhounds did it, sir. Bagged us on the road to Sacred Heart. They was big too, biggest I ever saw. Now, they weren't nothing special. One of them had metal hands.
Oh, that was bold, snatching 2 orphans by daylight.
Old or plain dumb, these 2 weren't the brightest of flames, if I'm any judge. So Julie and me was walking home, her from the textile mill, me from doing odd jobs round town, and they jumped us. They were hiding behind a hedge. I got knocked down, but I propped right back up and I said, if you's taking Julie, I'm going too.
That's the stuff.
They didn't care. They tied our hands and feet with cord and put us in this handcart they had nearby. It hurt a lot. Yeah, it did, and here we are.
Something's off about the story of how you were caught.
It's what happened, cross me heart.
They were snatched in the dorm. That's what we were told.
I asked around at the orphanage. They said the 2 of you were kidnapped from the dorms in the middle of the night.
Oh, are you going to believe us or a bunch of nuns? All they do is lie. Yeah, remember when Sister Susanna said she was giving me a great cake for my birthday? You'd have thought the way she talked up it was going to be a croquembouche. It was really barely a Victoria sponge.
Wow, these kids really know their patisserie. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Let's move the talk on. Is there anyone else down here?
Yes, sir. Now that you ask, there was some great hairy fellow they hauled into one of the other cells. They had a bit of a fight to do it too. Not sure you'd want to meet him, even with the bars and all. I thought I heard growling earlier. I hoped it was my imagination.
Right, well, best hurry along. Will you be okay getting them out of here on your own, Annika?
I can take care of myself now, and Julie. But thanks for thanks and all for helping out. Don't want to sound ungrateful. You needn't worry about us. The three of us together are 3 times as dangerous. Come on, guys.
Look, I've been at Sacred Heart and I've been out on the street. It's not an easy life either way. I was thinking, I've got some extra room in my place and I could maybe put in some adoption papers, make it official.
Oh, what's it like there?
Did their eyes light up just now? Am I really doing this? Am I ready to adopt these children? Go on then. It's just a little hole in the wall over a shop on Tenter Street. It's not much, but it's somewhere to hang your hats out of the rain. I might need to have a sweep and dust a bit and get a few cots, but there's a hole in the corner I probably should patch up, but yeah, I can do this. Help someone else for a change. I might not be a replacement for their real parents, but, well, I'll be as much of a father as I can be. Oh.
Oh, that sounds awful. I'm sure we can do better. See you around.
I've lost 20 hope for that, the little bastards.
No, right. Stay safe and sound then. I'm grateful, scallywags.
That was funny. I can try and get some hope back. I can drink this gin. Let's get my hope back. After being rejected by some orphans, we'll have to drink ourselves back into happiness. Alright. That's a bit better. We're optimistic again. Oh, this asshole's still down here. Can we kill him now?
What else could you possibly need from me?
Yeah, alright. Lunatic. Alright, back up, I suppose. Time for the final confrontation, I guess.
You're close, Atticus. Get to the guest house.
What? Why?
The guest house, come quick before...
Silence! Before what, damn it?
Okay, this is new. Stepping out into the evening air, you're hit with an unexpected array of sensations. A gilded beast burns in the sky, its dying groans echo over the grounds like peals of thunder carried on ash and torrid breath. Silas Bragg's smouldering airship lights the horizon. It's remarkable how quickly something which took so long to create can be destroyed. Years of engineering and obscene amounts of capital poured into a symbol of progress floating over a city where many still crouch beside steam vents at night to keep from freezing. Tonight they'll be warmed by that smouldering symbol instead. The irony isn't lost on you as you wander into the night. Where was that thing? Is it over here? I don't really need to talk to these guys. Where do I go? How do I get to the guest house? Ah, here we go. Yeah, we've read that before.
Before going inside, might I suggest a change in identity? I do think I have enough juice left for one more illusion. Nonsense, I'll face whatever's ahead in my current form. Regardless, this is my chance to put an end to all of this.
Alright, let's shift. It is our special ability after all.
Sight from the fire, hearing from ether, smell from the air and taste from the water. Touchdown of earth in another form. There she is. Just the woman I need to speak with, even as I despise her from every bone and marrow.
Who are you? Where'd you come from?
My illusion's working nicely, I see. Apologies, madam, I arrived to the party rather late and I thought I spied a lovely young woman in here.
Very well. Listen, as far as you're concerned, the party's over. I need you to leave now.
She's bad news. Solve this problem once and for all.
No, first I must return to my true form so she knows who's ending her worthless existence.
What's this? Atticus Daley?
Molly O'Malley, your shadow has darkened my days for years. You've exploited my weaknesses, used me and trod me down for your own gain. This is going to feel bloody wonderful. I do not need my debts forgiven, for I intend to pay this instant, and in full.
No, Atticus, no, please.
I insist.
Ooh, there she goes.
And that's the bitter end of Molly O'Malley. This trouble's just getting started, I can feel it.
Bloody Christ on a high wheel, you did a right job on Miss Molly.
I've been waiting a long time to put her down.
By the fates, who the hell are you, anyway?
I'm Atticus Daley, and I'm here to stop this terrible experiment.
Well, Mr. Daley, that's well and good, but I'm Lord Silas Braxton, Keeper of the Keys, and I won't let you do anything of the sort. I'm here about to implant this subject with the determination core.
Help me, if someone there, please. I can't hold on much longer. Death would be a welcome escape, and I feel its warm light steadily approaching.
Oh, the crone is his mother. That voice is coming from the table, but it's also in my head. Does this mean... She's been with me all along. The old crone is my mother. Now's my chance to liberate her from Lord Braxton's clutches. You, sir, have clearly taken whatever this is too far.
Oh, just my luck. First my airship is sabotaged, now I've just switched to my backup power source. Now another disturbance from a minotaur in a shabby top hat. I don't believe it.
Just lop off his head with the cane sword. Come on now. No, my mother is in a delicate state. I might need his help to save her life. Better keep him talking for the time being.
Now listen here, old boy. I haven't heard of you, but you clearly don't understand what we are here to accomplish. You may think I removed the scalp of a poor decrepit woman.
Oh, I can't zoom in. He's obviously taking the top of her head off.
But the goal here more than justifies the means to completion.
He's utterly mad. I should cut him up while I got the chance.
You see, an automaton is a neutral object, apart from good and evil. Troubled by neither morality nor emotions, it simply performs a function by design. To adapt our own minds to such a perspective would allow us to see eye to eye.
There's a genius flicker in his eyes, the spark of a restless intelligence wishing to catch fire.
Each fulfills a function, so automatons inherently represent necessity. Those who lack necessity see no reason to exist. So many Londoners wallow in vices without hope to improve their station.
But those who lack purpose are often dispossessed of it in the first place.
Yes, inequality is a tragedy of our society, and why advanced technology will become the great equalizer.
This whistlehog is nothing more than a phony. Born into his riches, I'm sure of it.
Someone sitting across could be our bitter enemy. But if we could run the same program like two automatons, then we would de facto agree on course and method.
Oh, it can never be that easy.
Couldn't it? This woman is so mentally damaged that she cannot form words. She will be an early prototype for human programming. Arsenal's ultimate goal. The device I implant will replace the functions of her brain.
He takes a breath. I can hear wheezing bellows from inside his chest. Well, that's right impressive. He's been fit with a pair of artificial lungs.
Now, the determination core will cure a deal of mental conditions, converting killers into contributors to society. There's so much good we can do, but first we mustn't fear integration with machines.
In his bizarre fantasy, laws would simply need to accord with the standards of society. How do you know the procedure ain't going to kill her?
Well, as with any surgery, there is a risk, but one of the other Bethnal House patients has already been implanted with the core today, and although he's not yet responsive, he is alive, with a steady pulse.
Not a promising outlook.
With the activated werewolf blood, a positive outcome is even more likely. Sad that Molly had to die for this. We could have achieved more together.
His disappointment seems genuine, if I can trust anything from someone so obviously keen on manipulation. Let's ask about Leo. Before we go any further with whatever this is, I need to know something.
Now, boy, perhaps I have not impressed upon you the delicacy or importance of what I am doing here.
This cove needs his ego stroked if I'm to get any information from him. I think I understand the gravity, but even still, why was Arsenal Engines procuring a mountain of corpses 23 years ago? He pauses, taking a long artificial breath before letting go of a single word.
Progress.
Is that really all he has to say? What sort of progress?
Progress of the species, Mr. Daley.
You're gonna need to be more specific than that.
Have you ever wondered how it is that modern surgery came about?
He gestures to your mother.
Many dead men, women, and children. Some were dead before meeting the surgeon's knife, others died on the table. It is only with their sacrifices that we know what to do about humanoid bodies, and can conduct surgery in relative comfort to the patient.
And you think those people were happy to die for the cause?
Who can say? They certainly cannot. But the fact stands, their sacrifices allowed for progress, and we're all happier for it today.
And who will die today for the progress tomorrow?
Arsenal Engines is a pioneer of modern industry. I've taken it to where it is today through sacrifice, both mine and others.
I had a friend who died as fuel for your fires. I need to know why, specifically. Silas sighs impatiently.
I can't speak to your friend specifically, but that was the year I created an artificial heart. We needed both subjects and material. I wouldn't know which of those your friend's was.
What do you mean by subjects?
The device is capable of both maintaining a weak heartbeat and restarting one that has recently ceased.
Bring the dead back to life?
We needed live subjects for the latter function to be tested. A few were, in fact, brought back. Tragically, the production cost of the device was too prohibitive to make it marketable.
Are you saying my friend could still be alive?
I don't know, but we have run out of time for this diversion. I don't know if you've noticed, but your mother's skull continues to be open to the air. May I continue with my procedure now?
I take it you wanted such a positive outcome to be observed on helpless orphans.
Yeah, I wager you came across the two younglings in my basement. I also wager you freed them just to spite me.
Spite you? It's bad enough to use people as test subjects without their consent. Doubly so when children are involved.
Oh, so you'd rather put the lives of gormless street children over the opportunity to perfect my serum and bring about societal progress? Think, man, what are 2 lives against the betterment of all?
No point talking sense into this madman. I ought to beat it into him instead. Stop this! She's in terrible pain.
Dear Mr. Daley, even if I believed you could read her thoughts, it's too late for me to stop.
If I physically tear him away from the controls, then Matilda will likely die.
Atticus, you are the orphaned child of our guest of honor, a woman who could never save you. The choice you face is both ironic and tragic.
And she may have faced no better odds at Bethnal House.
I would not risk her life by stopping the procedure midway. If you try to stop me, she will die anyway. But allow me to proceed, and she may survive, even regain herself.
He's promising a new Matilda in place of a ghost, but how much of her will be lost in the process?
Choose the lesser evil and enter a higher plane beyond hope and despair. The fates have selected you because you are fit to bear the burden.
We want it reversed. It wouldn't be her. She'd just be basically a lobotomized automaton. Look here, you old naff. I'll cut you to pieces if you don't find a different subject for your bizarre experiment.
Oh, bloody hell. She will die, but suit yourself. Enjoy your last moments with her if you like.
Atticus, come here, child.
My God, I'm actually here with her, and that voice in my head is the same one that's been with me all this time, admonishing me, guiding me. This really is my mother.
Feels as though I've waited 100 years for this day. Just a few minutes more and it would have been too late.
How are you able to touch my mind in this way? How can I hear you?
It was this odd fellow in the mask who opened the way. When he came to Bethnal House, I saw him in my mind's eye, like a spark in the infinite blackness of the coma.
How horrible.
Once I knew it was possible to connect with another person, some part of me, some essence, was able to travel beyond this pale and wasted form. I cast about in that awful blackness every day until I found you, my long-lost child.
Why didn't you tell me who you were? What were the riddles?
I was confused. Your life was so vivid to me, and it was difficult at times to separate my own self. And something held me back, a mother's intuition, perhaps. If I'd revealed everything and you didn't believe me, I feared for your sanity.
Not without cause.
Wait, I remember something. My ring. Do you have it by chance?
I do, Mother. Here you go.
Oh, my ring. Oh, Atticus, I knew you'd find and hold on to it.
Same way I held on to hope that I'd find you. Her body remained still as I slipped the ring onto her finger. I bet she'd have cried tears of joy were she able to.
Oh, stranger, there must be some selfish purpose behind that ridiculous mask, but don't trouble yourself. You brought us together this one last time. That's all I could ask.
Hold her hand. I press her cold, dry palm against my own, and I believe she squeezes back, however feebly, and then she's gone.
Oh, there he is. And the doctor, Wainwright? Here we are at last, and not too late, I hope. If you haven't yet been acquainted, this is Dr. Wainwright. Strike me blind, I hadn't figured there was an operating theatre in here. I know you were nervous about snooping around the manor looking for your patients, but aren't you glad I convinced you to come? Oh, that I am, but what an awful sight this is. Poor Matilda. Whatever the stranger did to get Dr. Wainwright to follow him, he did it with enchanting authority. Like when he woke me up in Beggar's Lane, he seems to readily mystify people into action.
Oh, there's no pulse here. By the fates, we've lost a patient. Yes, it's a terrible shame. It didn't have to be like this. As for your guests, Lord Braxton, they won't be joining us. Lady Braxton was decidedly in her cups and failed to bring them here.
What in blazes are you doing here? And how are you involved in this awful mess?
I should like to know as well. This isn't how it should have gone, and there's not even an audience to see it.
What about us? We're quite special people.
I should have known I couldn't count on my wife to corral the guests. She's never without a drink in hand. Probably she fell into the bruises again.
Old chap, I certainly wouldn't advise you on your marriage, but it's not all bad. You found a compelling application for the serum.
Gentlemen, I have to say my formula is not yet entirely stable.
Not to worry, good doctor. It's in the 99th percentile. That's good enough for Queen and country.
I researched the core. I won't let you steal it from me.
You mean that the research that you and Molly stole from Dr. Wainwright?
Ooh.
I thought as much. When your investors find out how far you've strayed from your promises, legally binding ones, you will be in very deep water indeed.
It was necessary to harvest the blood of an active werewolf. Without it, the serum was terribly unreliable.
That's right, you need to use activated blood for the serum to stabilize. But you can't just kidnap people like Sykes and Matilda to achieve your aims.
I only wanted a human subject in whom to install the core.
Yes, that may happen in the future, because the determination core is indeed a fine invention, but we'll take it from here.
Who does he mean by we? Sounds like the Queen herself has put her trust in this stranger. At least in regard to tracking down cutting-edge research chemicals, derived from the blood of werewolves.
As for Matilda Daley, well, she's no longer with us.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but even behind the mask, he seems genuinely remorseful.
I knew at once that there was something special about your mother, Atticus. When I first met her with Dr. Wainwright at Bethnal House to discuss his research, your mother reached out to me.
What do you mean she reached out?
Mind to mind, telepathically.
What's all this rubbish? Can I finally bash his head in? Then we'll see who ends up in Bethnal House. Now then, let's let him say his piece.
As a minotaur, you are naturally gifted in magic, and I can only assume that Matilda has been communicating with you as well.
So the stranger must have known all this time that the old crone was Matilda's voice.
During our brief exchange at Bethnal House, your mother pleaded with me to bring you to her, and lamented the power your vices held over you.
Oh, this is too much for me to make sense of right now. Though it seems this blighter ain't responsible for my mother's fate, at least.
I only wish the outcome could have been a happy one. I am sorry for your loss, my friend.
You fool, she is but an example of the wonderful future the Determination Corps will bring us.
Silas, we'll deal with you momentarily once my good friend Eves arrives. And don't get any ideas, or I'm happy to put a bullet through that boiler on your conveyance.
You're full of steam and bloody madness besides.
Now then, Atticus, it's time that I tend to your quite obvious curiosity.
And sure, this fellow has had a deal of explanations to give.
I'm sure you're wondering what in the devil has been going on since we scraped you up in Beggar's Lane.
No, get on with it.
Well, I stand before you as a representative of the Crown, that is to say, Her Majesty the Queen.
Sounds like we're poised for a most lucrative offer. How about a peek beneath that mask of yours, eh? At least tell me your name. Revealing something about yourself will go a long way towards earning a bit of trust. Bully to that.
Ask not for my name or face, because I've surrendered both as part of my calling, and we shall truck in neither. Okay. Trust, rather, in what I represent, the wisdom and will of Her Royal Highness.
The fellow certainly has a knack for talking in circles. I wonder if he's ever served in Parliament.
I know that you shared a certain book with Miss Nandi Mabasso. You strike me as a student of magic willing to share arcane knowledge with others and leverage it for the greater good.
Wow, and I see you and Miss Mabasso are acquainted. Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Her Majesty's Secret Service is in need of good mages, but you've got to focus on honing your abilities. Perhaps after hearing my proposal, you'll be intrigued to study with some of Britain's finest.
Oh, very well, carry on.
Well, I don't wish to belabor my introduction, but I work for an organization called the Sovereign Syndicate. We handle unsavory tasks in which Her Majesty's hand must remain unseen.
Unsavory task? Oh, that's the first thing coming out of his gob that I don't doubt in the slightest.
And the reason I am here is to gather all my agents, witting and otherwise, in one place. and I have chosen you, Atticus, and a few others yet to arrive, to collaborate with me on a very important mission.
Few others? I don't know if I should take solace in the knowledge that I'm not his sole quarry.
I must say, you rescuing the orphans from the basement has showed me both selflessness and bravery.
Well, even a souse like me wouldn't dare to look the other way. They needed help.
I have to respectfully disagree with you on that. Alcohol has a way of dulling one's sense of empathy.
You don't have any qualms with opium, do you?
When it serves a purpose, as I'm sure you'll recall from the dream you had in the Red Lotus.
Yeah, perhaps he's right. Everything in moderation. What's so special about this serum, anyway?
Well, it was originally Dr. Wainwright's brainchild, if you'll excuse the pun. A highly refined extract of werewolf blood. The exact science behind it would take hours to explain.
Just give me the short version, then.
The serum temporarily imparts superhuman strength and cell regeneration, abilities which an active werewolf is privy to.
Yeah, fascinating.
The good doctor chose Bethnal House for his round of experiments because the subjects there were readily accessible. Might I add that I also had little to no recourse to outside aid. Society hasn't come around to doing this sort of research, and I've had to keep it hush-hush.
But why did Silas have to use it to implant the augmentation in my mother's brain?
Well, one of the beneficial properties of the serum is to prevent a patient's system from attacking foreign objects, such as metallic implants.
Yeah, it gives me a headache just to imagine it.
In this case, it was Silas's determination core, modified from his prototype used on automatons so that it could be used on an organic being.
You said you handled tasks and that you're here to gather agents. There must be more you can tell me about this Sovereign Syndicate. In case he couldn't have been any more bloody vague.
I can reveal only a limited amount. The Syndicate is a secret governmental organization answering to the office of the Queen and no one else. We advance the interests of the Empire whenever a situation is politically fraught or an enemy is particularly resourceful.
You're spies, then?
Well, a crude term to describe a very sophisticated operation, but I suppose it will do for now. If we are spies, we are kings among spies. Very few know of the Syndicate's existence, and almost no one knows the identity of its agents.
Do I really want to get tangled up with this blackguard? He spends his whole life behind a mask. Well, he's plainly a capable and intelligent fellow. I do with a few more friends like that. And he can handle himself. Would be nice to have a bit of power on my side for a change.
So, will you accept my offer? Yeah, go on then.
Very well, I'll accept your offer, but with a few conditions.
Yes, we'll get to the details later on, but I assure you you've made the right choice. Here they come. Teddy and Otto.
I've seen plenty of ghastly things in my tree, but the sight of someone's noodle being all laid bare for all to see takes the crown. Macabre indeed.
Otto, it's good to see you again. Your steady climb from machine to thinking being has been fascinating.
Thank you, Mr. Teddy built me well.
That he did. Rare is the machine right now who not only exercises free will, but does so for the betterment of his fellow automatons. Curious that your efforts mirrored my own, even if nothing fruitful came of them.
I hope that I have planted the seeds for something.
Ah, and here is Otto's friend, the redoubtable Theodore Redgrave. It must have been you two who downed Lord Braxton's airship. Everyone else is accounted for.
Oh, well, it was an emergency, you ken. Otto told me about this foul mischief of Silas's. We were hoping to interrupt. And interrupt we did. Just who are you anyhow? How do you know Otto and my name?
Mr. Redgrave, surely you realize that you made a hard-to-ignore name for yourself by hunting down beasts. Your decision to destroy that secret distillery and restore heat to the Sherlock tenements did not go unnoticed either.
If you're so interested in my services, why don't you send me a writ?
I know you, Mr. Redgrave. You would dispose of that writ the instant you discovered that this job does not involve tracking a monster.
Well, if your penmanship was spotless and your reward large, I might consider it.
Both you and Otto will be interested in what I have in store, and I assure you it will be of some significance, not only for you, but for Queen and country.
Well, up to it then, my patience getting thin.
Is it Clara coming now?
By the saints, why is that woman's head open? It's enough to make my guts heave.
Oh, that ruddy thief again. Say it ain't so.
Hello, Mr. Redgrave. Sure you were the tinker responsible for the fireworks?
I am afraid so, Miss Reed. Can't say as expected, but it's good to see you all the same.
Look here, Lord Braxton. I know that I'm armed and unafraid to use force should you not cooperate. You don't have to make this any harder than it already is.
So at last the chips are stacked against me, when I only wanted to bring peace and harmony between man and machine.
Don't push it. You're in enough hot water as it is.
I suppose there's no point in worsening matters. Any road, once my team of lawyers get together, you'll be the ones in trouble.
Right this way. Try not to do anything you'll regret. Here's the final piece of the puzzle, Miss Clara Reed, who, with the help of my associate, Mr. Chalamet Duval, solved the case of the courtesan killer.
Oh, bloody well done, Miss Reed. I bet they'll brew about that in Scotland Yard for years to come.
My gratitude to you, Miss Reed, for ending the killer's reign.
The capture of the courtesan killer? Well, there's one good piece of news.
Oh, wait, which one's Wit? It's probably Atticus, actually, isn't it?
Capture the courtesan killer? Well, there's one good piece of good news, at least.
Miss Reed went to great lengths to gather evidence on the deceased. I spoke with Anselina Kemeny about what transpired in her shop and was quite impressed. Perhaps we could discuss what happened there at a more opportune moment, Miss Reed.
Under the right circumstances, I could be amenable to that.
I had a feeling you were well suited to murder investigations, and you proved me right. Well done.
Oh, thank you, but I imagine anyone else in my position would have done the same.
What in the dash hell has Miss Reed been up to with my landlady?
By the by, it's certainly a topic for later on, but during my investigation I uncovered a grisly operation from the basement of a shop in Sorry Square. The proprietor was engaged in the acquisition of the victim's organs.
After all that's happened tonight, I shouldn't be shocked by such gory dealings.
Given my connection to the latest victim, you can understand my desire to discuss what might be done about it.
Oh, absolutely, Miss Reed. With everyone here together, we will be focused on bringing those who are still at large to justice.
Sorry Square? Can only imagine it was Gordon Gray. Fellow's always given me an uncomfortable feeling.
Well, I'm pleased to see that my decision about each of you was a good one. I'd had some concerns about your cooperation.
Something tells me he would have found some way to convince us no matter what. But he sees my potential now. Oh, that's bloody wonderful.
Now that we're all gathered here, follow me and we will discuss your future with the Sovereign Syndicate.
Narrow beams of light begin to creep across the horizon, refracting through dense smoke and bathing everyone in an orange glow. The ferry carries us back to the St. Catherine docks as a new dawn washes away the stain of last night's events. Wending his way through the East End's back alleys, the masked stranger brings us to Dolores' laundry. Dolores pulls a lever beneath her counter and invites us into a secret passage. Who knew the masked stranger had been operating beneath the streets of the Red Lantern all this time?
Her Majesty calls upon our services. Danger waits in the dark places of this world, sharpening teeth and poisoning blades. The Sovereign Syndicate stands between the innocent and those who would do them harm. We are the sword, the shield, and the whisper holding back calamity.
Hell of a speech.
Let's get to work.
Ooh, and there we go. That was the end. That was an interesting tale. But also an interesting ending. It brought everything here to a satisfactory conclusion, but also set this up to perhaps have a sequel, perhaps be like a little franchise of games. Who knows? I mean, the idea of these three kind of going out and solving mysteries and getting to the bottom of other grim stuff, that sounds pretty good to me, actually. It's definitely one that I'll keep an eye on. But yeah, no, really enjoyed that. It was good. It was a good one for me. Like, I had a lot of fun doing all the different voices and stuff, and hopefully you guys had fun listening to it. But also, I think there's scope here to certainly do a bit more exploration. I perhaps didn't explore every corner with every character in every chapter because there were things that I hadn't managed to complete by the end, little side quests and stuff. There was also, each character has 3 potential characteristics and can take you down slightly different playstyles. Like, for instance, the Animal Instinct playthrough for Atticus, I know, can turn out very differently to the one I took, which is almost the complete opposite of that. So yeah, I could see, if you enjoyed this series, do think about checking out the game for yourself and maybe taking a look at some of the different routes you can do and maybe be a bit more completionist. It's definitely one I could see that being good fun. But I'll just say thanks very much once again for being with me through this series. If you did enjoy it, if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed the series as a whole, if you could hit the thumbs up button, that'd be great. I'd also love to hear any comments and stuff, about the story, about the ending, about, any potential future games. If there's something you'd be interested in looking at on the channel even, let me know. And lastly, if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it would be great if you could do that as well. So thanks very much once again, and I hope to see you elsewhere on Boring Dad Gaming for other games, other playthroughs. Bye for now.